Welcome in episode 58, Ramie and Drew. I am Ramie Mackloff. That's Drew Flaggy. We're a couple Milwaukee comedians. We talk about sports, whatever else might come to our stupid brains. Drew, it's been a while since we've done one of these. Not so long since I've seen you. I saw you last night at the Laughing Tap over there in Walker's Point. Great comedy club for anybody who wants to support local comedy. Go check it out, laughingtap.com. You might catch Drew or myself there from time to time, and you were dressed to hoop. I mean, we were there to do comedy, but you showed up dressed to get buckets. Is what you showed up to do.
I came from the gym, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's why you were dressed.
Yeah, I didn't just. That wasn't like a costume. Like
I was wondering.
I literally came in what I was wearing, like to the gym.
Okay, I was wondering because some guys they run a few games at the gym, and all of a sudden like basketball is their identity. Because you had on the whole thing. You had on, what are those things called? The pants that basket, like
just,
the
there's compression pants.
Compression pants, like the ones that go all the way down into the sock. You had on the shorts. You even had a headband on when I first showed up. You took that off.
Yeah, it was like basically glued to my forehead. It was pretty sweaty. And like it was mostly to keep my hair up, because like when my hair gets wet, it goes flat like this.
Right.
And I didn't want that. It was gonna look shitty. Like my hair looks shitty when it doesn't have product in it. So I was basically like, I'm just gonna have it hold my hair up for a while, and when I take it off, it'll just stand up.
I was just wondering if you were turning.
It was really sweaty. The thing was.
I was just wondering if you were turning into that guy. You know, the guy who he's like, I'm a baller, I'm a hooper. This is, ball is life.
I'll tell you, it's been more fun than being around the comedy scene lately. I'll tell you that
much. Why you got to do that?
What? Why do I got to be honest?
I mean, yeah.
That the guys who play basketball at the gym are just more wholesome people that don't make me sad to listen to. Yeah.
We played basketball last week. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. And all the comics bailed. How fun was that? They all bailed.
Literally.
They're living lives of degeneracy and decadence, staying up until 4 or 5 in the morning, breaking commitments.
I didn't. You didn't. How many people said they were going to show up? Because I wasn't in on the planning. You were just like, we're going to be at this park around this time. Come on out. And I showed up. How many? And it was you, me, and one other friend, Elijah Holbrook. Shout out. How many people actually said they were going to come out?
Like it was like 8.
8?
Yeah.
And we got 3?
Yeah.
And nobody showed up after I left?
No, well, it was raining by that point.
Wow. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, they're living disgusting, shameful lives, drinking.
It wasn't even that early. I got there at like 11.
Yeah. Well, they said that they're not going to wake up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, and I was.
They don't have to. It wasn't early.
Well, when they went to bed fucking 3 hours prior to that, I mean, that's their fault.
Hey,
listen,
live your life.
Listen, all I'm saying is when they want to criticize the girls for having girl brunch and then maybe having some after brunch drinks, and they're like, they just drink all day long. But then everybody stays out till 5 in the morning drinking. So what's the fucking difference? Because the girls like to do it when it's light out?
I can't keep up. I can't do it anymore.
Drew. I've had enough.
I'm 44. I'm a 44-year-old man. I can't be doing all that. Speaking of being a 44-year-old man, I went that night after we hooped. No, we'll get there. After we hooped, my knee completely locked up for like 36 hours. I don't think it was the basketball. My girlfriend is convinced it was the basketball. Not to brag or anything. I do things harder than basketball in my workouts. They're almost every day of the week. I do things because we were just shooting around. It's not like I was running and jumping and stopping and start. You know what I mean? We were just literally shooting around, grabbing rebounds, passing it around. We were doing nothing. But yeah, the old knee locked up on me for a good 30. But I'm good now. Everything's fine.
Well, when you're working out, are you working out in your house? Do you
Yeah.
ever go in your backyard and work out?
No.
Or like do you ever like go for runs on like concrete?
Run? Just to run? Just to run?
I mean around the block or because you
No.
forgot to get mail?
No. I
Well,
don't
okay, well
run
because
unless
that's the
there's a
thing.
reason to
Concrete
run.
the concrete's so much worse. Like my back hurts after I play basketball in the concrete. I can
God, we're
play for
fucking old.
4 or 5 hours at the gym, no problem, because it's just it doesn't beat your back up as bad as like the unforgiving
The gym
non-bouncy
is
concrete.
hardwood. What's the difference?
There's padding under the wood.
Is there?
Yeah,
Okay, if you say so.
it's not just wood on concrete. There's like a
Excuse
thin.
me. Excuse me, fancy gym membership with a
No, it's like
basketball court.
every gym. Like it's like a high school gym too. Like there's shit under the wood that like makes it not as bad.
I
And
never
even
knew
if it
that.
was just wood, wood still it's not like it's they call it the hardwood, but it's not like the shit you make a dresser out of.
It's pretty hard.
Well, no
That's what
shit,
she
it's
said.
wood.
Every time, and I don't know if I don't know. I was going to ask you where you want to start, finals or
Well, you know what
or Brewers. But every time I see, because dude, guys take the nastiest falls in the NBA, and they just bounce back up, and I'm always like, how the fuck do they? It's insane. These guys will fall from like literally 8 feet out of the air and land on their head or their shoulder and just pop back up. They don't always pop back up. Sometimes it's bad, but it's crazy how basketball players just get up from taking those falls.
Yeah. I mean, wood does have a give to it, especially when it's like the little slats like that. Like it's not I guess it's probably not as bad as like, I don't know, falling on like I don't know, a table.
I mean, yes,
Like
concrete is worse. I understand.
yeah, the concrete's
I
way worse.
understand concrete is worse,
The
but
concrete has way
yeah,
less
falling.
give than wood. Also, it's
Did
like
you want
maybe
to
your knee
start?
locked up. Maybe you need compression pants. Maybe you need the long pant. Because you know
No,
what?
maybe.
I haven't had calf
Oh, you and your
issues.
fucking dude. You talked about this for 2 minutes on stage last night. Nobody
The people in the
about your.
front were like looking. They're like, "Why the fuck are you wearing tights?" And I was like, "Because I was playing basketball." And I listen.
Most of your set was
The people
about
that were upset.
most of your set was about you playing basketball last night.
No, the whole thing was about it.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was I supposed to go up there and do? Donald Trump got 34 convictions. Like, that's what I'm supposed to do.
I didn't hear anybody do material on that. Did anybody do material on that?
The Republicans or something? Like, what was I supposed to do? Like, no, I was like, I'm talking about what's going on in my life.
That is
no,
what was going on.
So here's what everybody else is talking about. So girls don't like me because I'm creepy and I fuck bad. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Or I can just talk about hooping. Like, I'm sorry that I'm trying to better my life.
No, you're right.
I'm sorry that I lost like 27 pounds just running around getting buckets. And that's my life now.
It's a good way to shed some pounds.
It is. It's a really good way. I suggest it to everybody instead of living your lives of decadence and sloth.
Then the gym is going to be packed, man. You're not going to get as much run.
I'm not even drinking Sprite no more. Now I'm drinking Gatorades.
Those have more sugar probably than a Sprite.
They're like 130 less calories in a bottle than Sprite.
How much sugar though?
I don't care. I'm burning it off.
All right. I'm not telling anybody what to do. Who am I?
Here.
Did you want to start with the finals or the Brewers getting swept? Where do you want to go to start for the actual, talk things that we come here to talk about?
Oh no, it's equal.
Huh?
It's equal. It's 140 calories in each thing.
See? And how much sugar? Tell me how much sugar.
Let's see here. Added sugar is 69%. Nice. 76 on the Sprite. Sprite has 76% added sugars.
Okay.
And this has electrolytes. It's got what the plants need to grow.
That's fair. Do your thing. I just do water. I just got trusty old H2O right here.
I have water too, but sometimes I want a little bit of flavor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Finals or Brewers? Which one did you want to talk about?
We can talk about the Brewers first because I don't know. I'm not upset about that series. Actually, there were a lot of things I thought were really encouraging about that series. Like,
dude, that's a really good baseball team, and I'm not trying to make excuses or take moral victories out of anything. I'm a Cubs fan. I would have no reason to do that. But that Phillies team is like the Brewers were the second hottest team in baseball going into that series, and they just ran into maybe the hottest team in baseball, and they got swept. I didn't think they played bad baseball over the course of those three games. The Phillies just played better.
The game yesterday, the Phillies defense was incredible. Like what we got thrown out at home plate, 4 or 5 times in that series.
Yeah.
The Tuesday night game when we went to extra innings, and they had, I think, Owen Miller. Who was the one? Was it Owen Miller that pinch ran for pinch ran for Ferris, and like he got the third, and then he got thrown out at home. But that was the Phillies they played the infield in, they gambled on it with no outs, and they cut him down at the plate. Like it's just the ball was hit exactly where it had to be hit. Like that was one of those things, that ball's a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, and maybe they don't make that play, and the Brewers are up, 2-, or whatever. Like they're up 2-1 going into the bottom of the 10th or something like that. I don't know. Like it was good. Like the Brewers, they held the Phillies offense in check for the most. The Brewers didn't give up more than 5 runs. The run differential was only 4 total runs on us. Because we lost 4-3, 2-1, and 2-0. Like that's really not that bad. Against a really good team, that's a pretty valiant.
I think they have the best. They have the best record in the National League, if I'm not mistaken. And you're right on the scores: 3-1, 2-1, 2-0.
Yeah.
So they didn't give up more than 3 runs in the whole series.
You didn't get blown out. Like I thought the Brewers took good at bats against a lot of their, it's just the matchups weren't there. And then also we're missing all of our starting pitching. Apparently, nobody can stay healthy.
The other day, I saw Pat Murphy said if you can throw the ball forward, then you're a possibility to get on the mound for us. If you're in the organization and you can throw the ball forward.
I love Pat Murphy quotes. He's awesome. He's like a war general. He's hilarious.
Yeah. But and we talked earlier in the season when the injuries first started to pile up. Now it's the pitching. Earlier in the season, it was more the position players it was hitting, and losing Devin Williams before the season even started. And I said at the time, first of all, it's a roster, and even beyond, the 25-man roster, it's an organization. The way that they can dip down into the minor leagues and have guys sort of on that shuttle to Nashville. And the combination of the division that they're in, they can sustain these injuries and still perform pretty well. And even if they have like a 3-game sweep against the Phillies, the Cubs gained 1 game on them because they couldn't capitalize on it. They won 2 games against the White Sox, who's fucking basically a AAA team, but they lose tonight against the Reds on a night when the Brewers were sitting at home watching. They could have gained a half a game. The Cubs gained 1 game over the course of that 3-game series that the Brewers got swept at the hands of the Phillies. They have a little bit of a luxury being in a division where, other than themselves, nobody's really playing great baseball right
now. Yeah, no, like I said, I thought it was encouraging. Like every one of those games could have went a completely different way. The Brewers had their opportunities, and all season long, the offense has been pretty consistently good. Everybody top to bottom's been taking pretty good at bats. That's just one of those things. A ball finds a hole somewhere, and it's a completely different series. It's whatever. I'm not usually like you kind of have like that bad feeling in your gut, like when you get swept. I didn't feel bad about any of it. When the game ended yesterday, I kind of was like, oh, okay. And then I just went about my day and was like, whatever, I'm not going to really dwell on this one. Didn't really do nothing for me. I was like, okay, whatever.
I think that's for a number of reasons. First of all, that's a good team that did that to you. You didn't get swept by some scrubs. And secondly, you again, like I said, you have a little bit of the luxury of being in what is right now not a very good division.
Yeah, well, and it's going to happen throughout the season. Like, what this was this the first series that got swept in, or did we get swept earlier in the season?
I don't know that off the
I'm
top of
not
my
sure.
head.
One of my friends brought it up that he's like, no, he's like, this was the first time we got swept all year, and I was like, did we lose one, or maybe we had a 4-game series? I thought we did. Did we have like a 4-game series against Pittsburgh and we lost like 3 of them or something? Yeah.
No, they split the 4 with Pittsburgh. I'm just skimming through
Oh,
the schedule right now, so I might miss something. I'm doing this fast and live on the air. I think this was their first.
okay.
Yeah, this looks like it was their first sweep of the season.
Probably gonna get swept again at some point in the season. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really bother me. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean it happens. It's a 162 game schedule. It's
But now
gonna
I'm just
happen.
all that made me do is I'm just looking forward to the next time we play the Phillies when they come here. That'll be cool.
That's a fun team, dude. That's a fun baseball team to
I
watch
like
that they
Bryce
got
Harper.
there in Philly.
I know a lot of people want to hate Bryce Harper. I like him. Like
I've always liked them. Yeah.
I've wanted to hate him because of the hype when he was 19 coming into the league. Like I was like, nah, this guy's gonna suck, and I was always like a Mike Trout truther and everything, being like, no, Trout's like the. I like Bryce Harper's a winner. I like him. He's
I like Bryce Harper too. I
he's
love Nick
like,
Castellanos is one of my favorite people in baseball.
yeah, yeah. Like when he hit the like I got the notification yesterday when I was hooping. Like I pulled out my phone. I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, Nick Castellanos did something again. Go figure, right? Well, And I was just like, oh, put that back down. That's okay.
I hear Marty Brenneman's voice every time I hear the name Nick Castellanos. So
Yeah.
for that call when he he did the thing and then he had to apologize and Nick Castellanos hit the home run in the middle of his apology. That's the first thing I think of. But outside of that, Nick Castellanos is still one of my favorite players and people in Major League Baseball. So I mean, yeah, and that's a really good baseball team. If, like you said, sweeps are going to happen. If they're going to happen, they might as well happen against the team with the best record in the National League right now. And again, they didn't play bad baseball. And again, it didn't cost them much because the Cubs and the rest of the National League Central can really capitalize.
Well, the bigger thing too is it wasn't a complete ass whooping. That's the biggest
Right.
thing.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
you didn't lose one game like 10-2 and then the next day get shut out. Like that didn't happen. Like they were very much in every game. They put pressure on the closer. Like, what was his name? Alvarado. They had pressure on him yesterday to like at the end of that game. So it's
Yeah. They had him
fine.
sweating a little bit.
It's everything's okay. Like it's fine. I'm like so zen about the goddamn Brewers right now. I'm just like, yeah, everything's good. They're fun.
I saw a little bit of not full on, but and it's social media, so you're gonna see a little bit of this. And I don't even want to call it panic, but like a little bit of I don't know, cooling off of the Brewers fever. I guess I would like I saw somebody tweet my expectations for the pitcher, like and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like which is fair. We're like a little over a third of the way into the season, and I wouldn't change my perspective completely on a baseball team over almost 60 games, but I don't know. It just there was a little bit of negativity after the sweep against the on social media, which again you're going to see that. But I hope Brewers fan because I don't know if you saw our boy Bart Winkler was putting out parade chairs the other day for the Milwaukee Brewers into the Winkler verse, and like I like that. I want Brewers fans to keep that up. It's a fun team, and they're going to continue to be good. And you shouldn't let this cool off your expectations at all.
No, it's what June 6th. Like we can still be happy that like baseball's fun. Like no, I know you look at the standings all year long. I know
All
after
year.
the break, I start looking at it. This is when baseball's fun. This is like everyone's chilling out. Like you don't have to be angry at games. Like nothing pisses me off until after the All-Star break. And that's
I've gotten angry. I've gotten angry watching Cubs games. It happened tonight. I've gotten angry watching Cubs games because they continue to let the Brewers like run away with. And I know it's only 5.5 games on June 6th, but you don't want to let the Brewers keep opening up this lead and keep it at between 5 and 8 games going into September. Like I need to see that team play better baseball than what they've played. They said today, I was watching the Cubs game, they haven't won 3 in a row since the end of April. They haven't won 3 baseball games in a row since the end of April. So yeah, I get frustrated. I get angry watching my baseball team. Hasn't been as good as it has for you.
When you're losing games stupid, like was it Friday that the Cubs just completely imploded in like the 8th inning or something?
Again,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like Friday, it was Friday. They just totally fucking imploded. Like, that's a game that I would be pissed about. Like, if I was behind in the standings and you're like, how did you do this?
They've lost like 11 or 12 games that they were leading after 7 or 8 innings. I don't remember exactly what the stat was. So yeah, there have been a lot of games like that, and that's the toughest part about it is they're letting wins slip through their fingers, and not even. But that's not to say that they're playing good baseball. You know what I mean? Because people will often go with the, oh, we've been in them all. They've all been close. I hear that a lot with Bears fans after a 4-13 season. Oh, they were all 1-score losses. I don't give a fuck about that. So I'm not saying that at all. But when you're not playing your best baseball and it's still coming down to the 8th and the 9th innings, that means they could be in this thing easily. If they won half the games that they were leading after 7 or 8 innings, they'd be in right there neck and neck with the Brewers. Play better baseball and they could maybe win this division. But they're not even playing their average baseball right now.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's got to be organizational, and sometimes your manager just has to get the most out of their roster.
Okay.
Well, you didn't think I was going to take a shot at Council? Seriously,
You're obsessed with your ex.
How many managerial wins have the Cubs gotten out of this one? Because everyone said like the consistent number was +8 wins. Like, that's probably what Craig brings you. Have you gotten any managerial wins yet? 7 games back.
I can't think of a game where I was like, Craig Counsell's brilliance won that baseball game.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know, like Pat Murphy style.
No, you're right.
Like running on everything. I'm like, I don't know if that we didn't do it last year. We're doing it this year. I don't know if this is Pat Murphy culture. I don't know, but maybe Murph still. Actually, no. You know what? I will credit Pat Murphy with shit. I'll even credit him with these losses keeping us in these games where. Because we had to use bullpen days. We've had to lean so heavy on this bullpen, having just an opener, have a guy go one, like Koenig has to go like 1 1/3 inning, and then he's out of there. And then you got Colin Ray coming in. He comes in and throws in like 2 innings or something. It's like, that's masterful use of these guys. Like, I don't know. Like, he's not leaving any of these dudes in too long. And against the Phillies, to not have a blow-up inning with any of our guys coming out of the bullpen with our relievers, that's good management right there. Just the offense had to do something, and they couldn't.
Dude, Pat Murphy has been very good. I've been impressed with what I've seen from him as a manager. I have nothing bad to say about Pat Murphy. I do think that when it comes to the aggressiveness on the base paths, because even the Craig Counsell managed Cubs are attempting more steals than they did previously under David Ross, I think, and the Brewers are probably a little bit more ahead of the curve, and they have a lot of speed in their lineup on most days. That's just the direction that the league is going, and that's the direction that the league has wanted to go, and that's what a lot of these rules changes are about, with the bigger bases and the limited pickoff moves and blah 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 blah. Everything that they want more stolen base attempts and more action on the bases. So I think it is a product of Pat Murphy, but I think it's also just a product of where the sport is moving. That's the evolution of the sport.
Well, also with like how many pitchers are throwing with so much crazy movement and everything, like for a team like the Brewers, you're not going to be the team that hits like 215 home runs as a roster. You're just not. You got to get, outside of the Yankees, I mean, who else is probably going to hit 200 home runs this year? Mate,
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't looked at who's hitting a lot of home runs, but those are down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because like now it's like starters like 1 through 5 are all like there are guys who are the number 5 starters or like you even got like the 6th starter on some of these teams. These guys would be like a 3 and 4 like 10, or like.
Did you see? This is a non sequitur in a way, but you're talking about guys throwing hard. Did you see Skeens versus Shohei yesterday? Did you see the highlights of that?
Yeah,
that was a fun battle to watch, dude. He was pumping it. I think he threw him like 7 straight pitches in his first 2 at bats that were 6 of them were 100 or above, and the other one was 99. And then finally Shohei caught up to him on his 3rd at bat and put it out of the park. But that was fun to watch. It was 2 strikeouts on a lot of gas, and then one of the best hitters in the league like figuring it out and cracking the code and putting one over the fence. It was insane.
Yeah, that was cool. Like I was definitely checking in on the highlights on that stuff where I was like, all right, this is I'm not like I do get annoyed at like the MLB app where it's like I follow specifically 2 teams. That's it. I don't want updates from everybody else.
Team? Who's the second team?
The Angels and their dog shit. So I'm kind of good at the Angels. I like the Angels.
Why are you the Angels?
I jumped on the bandwagon when K-Rod was like his rookie season. I was pretty pumped on K-Rod, and then they won the World Series. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I kind of just always have been kind of an Angels guy since then. But they're shit. Like they're terrible.
Organization.
They are
awful organization.
They are top to bottom an awful organization. Like
one of the worst in sports.
They're like one of those teams that it's like, okay, it's like maybe Mike Scioscia should have been fired a long time ago. And then it's also going to do better. And then when they fired him, I was like, what are you doing? Even though I'm like, you should fire this guy. Like, because I'm like, I
have another friend who, for some reason, I don't know.
Yeah, fucking Anthony Rendon, you're paying him as $, and the dude doesn't even want to play baseball.
I feel so.
He's just like he came out of the gate hot. It's like Mike Trout was like, "Ooh, he might put together another MVP season." Yeah, well, there goes his knee. So I was like,
I hate the Angels for what they've done to Mike Trout's career because the dude is really a phenomenal baseball player. Maybe like the LeBron James of his generation in baseball, and nobody knows it. Nobody knows it.
No, it's like he's like a guy that I'm like. It's like every year you're like rooting for him. It's like, man, if they could just be 500,
trade him. If they could just trade him to a competent organization, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, he's terrible. Trade him to the Brewers for Gary Sanchez. I don't know. Next year.
I was thinking the Cubs, but of course.
Oh, you said a competent organization.
Oh, come on. The Cubs are competent. They have a World Series in the last 10 years.
I don't.
That's cool to say. That's still cool to say.
Speaking of competent organizations,
Heyo,
Dallas Mavericks podcast.
That was they showed some signs of life there in the 3rd quarter, and I really thought they were going to do it, dude. Luka was doing Luka things, Kyrie was heating up, but that was an ass kicking in game
Kyrie
1 of the NBA. He did in that 3rd quarter when they made the run, he made a couple shots.
Yeah.
But that was really just that was about it. That was an ass kicking from the beginning. Kristaps Porzingis came back, didn't miss a beat. He was, I think, 6 of 8 in the first half. He was bombing away from 3. So that was not what we were looking for in game 1, Drew. I'm not even so much a Mavericks fan as I want to see the Celtics lose.
Yeah, I want to see the Celtics lose too. I don't want this Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum put up 6th man of the year numbers. He was like Bobby Portis out there. He was fucking 15 points. No, I'm not even going to give Jason Tatum the 15. He had 13 points. Okay, and then he had, because he was at the free throw line or whatever, and they didn't pull him, so then they got one more. Possession with Jason Tatum on the floor, and then he hit like a pull up jumper, and it's like, oh, now you got 15 points. Like, wow, dude, he is a.
Did he really finish with just 15?
Role player, dude. He is a role player.
He had 16 points.
He's a fucking role player, dude. Pat Bev outscored him in a game. I mean, Like Jaylen Brown was great. Like I mean, dude, the Celtics were just they played with more energy coming out of the gate in that game. Like just immediately, like they out rebounded. They got so many points in the
they
first.
Couldn't miss. They couldn't miss in the first quarter, and the Mavericks couldn't hit anything.
But when they missed, they were getting their own rebounds in the first quarter, and that built that lead. They built their lead early, and then they let the Mavericks creep back into it. But then they locked them down on defense, and then got a couple good efficient shots off, and just buried them again. Because they got it to 9, like the Mavericks cut it to 9, and then all of a sudden you're down 19 again, and it was just
it happened real fast. Both of those swings happened real fast. They took it from 26 to, I think they actually got it within 8. They turned a 26-point lead to an 8-point lead, and then it was 18 just as fast. And after that, I kind of knew it was over. You're not going to make 2 runs like that in one game once you get down that big. So I knew it was kind of over at that point.
But also, I mean, the Mavericks they're not going to shoot that poorly from 3 again. They only made I'm taking away the garbage time 3 from whoever the hell that was that shot that. I don't even know who that guy was. But like, so they made 5 3-pointers all night. Kyrie couldn't hit a 3. Luka missed like 3 threes in the first quarter. I'm just going to say that it was most of that team not being on that stage yet. Like, I think they're going to settle down, and I think the next game is going to be better. Like,
yeah, I don't think this is any indication of how this series is going to go. Kyrie obviously can be a lot better, and yeah, a lot of those. Luka was fine. Luka had a great game. He might have been the best player in this game, even though they lost. But a lot of the rest of the guys on that roster, they haven't seen a stage like this. They haven't been in a spotlight this bright. So yeah, and playing in a place like Boston, that's a little tense too. So yeah, I think that there probably were some first game jitters coming out in this one.
You know what the crazy matchup was that I was actually really enjoying watching? This is like the craziest. I was like, I never would have thought, like, because it was Kyrie against Al Horford. Like, Horford locked Kyrie a couple times.
Did he really? I didn't catch that.
It was in the second. So in the first half, Kyrie just absolutely cooked him. Like, it was pretty good. Like, that might end up on like SportsCenter. Like, that might be a top 10 play where just Kyrie took him off the dribble on the baseline and it was elder abuse, dude. He took that old man. It was terrible. Like, it was mean, but it was also pretty.
I was just gonna say, Al Horford on like 2 consecutive plays can look incredibly athletic, and then on the next play look like he's like he's an octogenarian. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
That dude definitely has two very different sides to his game on the court, and the better one shows up more times than not. The guy's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, but there are just times on the court where he looks very old. He looks like he moves slow and doesn't have great balance and can fall over at any moment.
But Al Horford is like a guy, like, as much as like I want to shit talk the Celtics, Al Horford is so much a guy who at the end of the season, that dude just empties the tank. That guy, like, he's giving it all. Like, I kind of respect it. It's cool. Like, I don't want to respect too much about the Celtics. Drew Holiday's awesome.
I don't hate Al Horford. I'll give you that.
But yeah, Al Horford,
and obviously we got love for Drew Holiday.
That dude just when he has to, he empties the tank. Like, that dude is probably still sitting in an ice bath right now.
I'm still saying Mavs in 7. I'm not changing
it's going to 7.
Yeah.
Talked a little bit of shit before the game started with a couple of our friends, and I said that it was going to be Mavs in 5. I said the gentleman's sweep, but that ain't going to happen now.
No, they're not. They're not going to win the next 4 games. That ain't happening.
I thought Mavs come out tonight and just spank them, and it didn't happen. I was way off base on that.
Hey, before we wrap it up, do you have any interest in, or have you watched the Clippers miniseries on Hulu about the whole Donald Sterling thing?
Was that the clip that's been going around Twitter where Doc Rivers like cooked like JJ Redick or something and like in practice?
Yes.
I saw the clip of
Doc Rivers played by Lawrence Fishburne, which is probably and Ed O'Neill plays Donald Sterling. and it's look, a lot of it is not good, but it's fun. Okay, it's a little it's a little campy, but it's fun, and it has the Milwaukee ties because Doc Rivers is obviously the head coach of the Bucks now, and JJ Redick, who's kind of a main piece in the show. He is coming from Milwaukee and coming to the Clippers, and I've only watched one episode, dude, and it's a fun watch. I'm not gonna lie, it is a fun watch.
Is he? So is this like in the same style as like Winning Time, like on like HBO?
Mm-mm.
Oh, because that was
much more low budget than that. Did you watch the OJ true crime story on FX?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same people that made that.
Did you see that? I think it was it Owen Wilson? Oh fuck, no. Who the hell was it? Like they're making like another like OJ movie, and it's like it like paints him in like the light of like that OJ might like how he was like innocent or whatever. And like they're trying to get this movie into production, I think, and like I think Owen Wilson was tied to it, and he's like, no, I don't want to be.
Is he playing Kato Kalin? Who would Owen Wilson play in the OJ story?
I don't know. Like it was, I don't know what it was. If he was like a media person or something, like I forgot. Like I felt like Owen Wilson was supposed to be in it, and I could be wrong about Owen Wilson, but like they're like, why would I want to be in this? Like, because like,
yeah,
like
no,
turned it down.
But, again, I've only watched one episode, but I'd recommend it, and it's fodder and content for the podcast if you're not doing anything. I know you got the next couple of days off. You told me that before I hit live. So if you're not doing anything the next couple of days, check it out. It's called Clipped. It's on Hulu. I enjoyed it.
I'm watching Black Sails like right now, like the pirate show.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. I don't.
Yeah, on that. I'm on I'm season 3, episode 4. So
I've watched everything. I need more new shows. I need more new quality shows.
So far, like I like it for the most part. I
don't care about pirates.
Dude, I don't care about pirates either. But like this is fine. My girlfriend was like, you should watch this. And I was like, all right, it's good enough. It's by far not the dumbest thing anybody's ever told me to watch.
That's fair. Okay.
I could be watching this or watching that new Star Wars show, The Acolyte. I could be watching that.
I was going to ask you if you're watching that. I have not started yet. No.
Okay, so you're like, the Jedi are going to be stupid. Everything that they do. This is the problem with prequels, Ramie. Like I'll tell you, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the prequels for anything. Mm-hmm. It has so much more of a chance to destroy everything from like the original trilogy. It has so like anything that the story that you knew, they're like, well, let's actually explain how things came to be. But then it's like when characters do dumb shit over and over, you're like, oh, so like the good guys, like everything they did and everything that was built on was because there were a bunch of morons before them. Cool. Really good. And it's like, I understand that if you believe in evolution or whatever, I don't care. I don't want to get into that debate with people. But it's like, oh, we came from caves. Yes, we had idiots. They had to be bred out. They had to get eaten by saber-toothed tigers, shit like that. I understand. We had to learn that big cats are scary.
Yeah.
And some people had to get their faces eaten.
Right.
When the Oonga Boonga people were walking around discovering fire, like some of them died. Some of them tried to eat the fire.
Some of them got burned. Yeah, I'm sure.
A fire. That's why we don't have hairy faces, because we descended from the people who didn't burn their entire heads off.
Exactly. Yes, I believe that's well documented in science journals. That's exactly how it went down.
Also, it's like, okay, like, so this is like the from what I read about this stupid ass Star Wars show, they're like, it takes place 2,000 years before the prequel trilogy. So like the aesthetics never changed.
Wait.
The people just all still dress exactly the same.
This takes place 2,000 years. Hold on. This takes place 2,000 years prior to Anakin being born?
Yeah. Like episode 1, yeah.
2,000 years?
That's what I thought it said, or something like that.
That's insane. Why do we have to go back 2,000 years? And are years the same in Star Wars? Are star years the same as Earth years?
So if you're like a Star Wars person,
I'm sorry, I asked.
like it's what I think like the Phantom Menace is it like 22 or 24 BBY or whatever? That's before the Battle of Yavin, which is the end of episode 4, like the original one. So that they track it in BBY, which is before
Gotcha.
Yavin, or ABY is after Battle of Yavin. Yeah.
What episode was ABY? Like, where's the break from where it's ABY and BBY?
That'd be Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, so 4. No, 5.
That's
Okay.
5, 6.
All right.
You acknowledge the sequel trilogy, which you shouldn't. That's dog.
That was the nerdiest fucking thing that's ever happened and will ever happen on this podcast.
Unfortunately, Harvey Weinstein's assistant Leslie Headland had to make the fuck acolyte. No, don't do that, because here's the thing. No, don't look up. Don't look away. Did you know that the person who is writing and directing the Acolyte was the assistant to Harvey Weinstein, and Disney hired? Listen.
I didn't know that, and I still don't know that to be a fact. And also, is just because, I mean, no. If you were his assistant, you had to know something was going on.
Oh, she was the Ghislaine Maxwell of Harvey Weinstein's office. She absolutely.
I don't know that. I don't know that to be. I don't know that to be a fact.
I'll send you some links.
If that I don't need to see the links.
She knew it was all happening. She knew it was all happening. And Disney hired.
If that's the case, then yeah, that's not good. That's not a good thing.
Did you also see the interviews with the actors from The Acolyte, where they were talking about when Anakin Skywalker blew up the Death Star? Like, they don't know shit about Star Wars either, and they're like, "This is gonna be like the best Star Wars show." And it's like, yeah.
The actors didn't know anything about.
They don't know anything about Star Wars. Like, none of them.
I mean, they just need to know their script and be good at delivering it. I don't need them to know all the canon of Star Wars. Motion on the YouTube page, he says Dan Hurley to the Lakers. Yeah, we haven't mentioned that. It sounds like Dan Hurley, the UConn men's basketball coach, is the front runner for the Lakers job. The most interesting thing about that to me was it was 13 hours earlier, prior to the Woj bomb, saying Hurley to the Lakers. That Shams Charania was basically reporting that it was JJ Redick to the Lakers. Like that was a done deal. That's the whole Shams Woj thing is always fun to me. The back and forth between those two.
Yeah. Well, I thought that the JJ Redick thing was going to be weird because he's doing his podcast with LeBron, and I'm like, that is like next level nepotism, and I'm like, oh, yes. I didn't like that at all. But I don't know. Like,
I saw a report today that LeBron told the Lakers to make any future decisions, including who they hire as coach and who they use draft picks, etc., on to make those decisions based on Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves and guys much younger than him that are going to be around for a long time, which is like an honorable thing to do when you know that the clock is ticking for you to not hold an organization hostage. But I will find that report hard to believe if his podcast co-host ends up being hired as the head coach, that they didn't do it to appease LeBron.
I think if you're the Lakers, I don't think you do a rookie head coach. I mean, it would be a rookie in the NBA, regardless if you take the dude from UConn, but like, that's a high level basketball program that's consistent.
Yeah, 2 championships, I think. I don't know shit about college basketball.
So I would, especially with the roster that the Lakers have and the money that they're kind of willing to spend every now and then, and like the trades they're willing to make, I think you would want to, for the foreseeable future, go with a guy who is like a system guy who would be able to do that. And so he's not exactly like a rookie, but like, he would be in the NBA. I guess I like the Hurley idea for the Lakers better than JJ Redick. JJ Redick's really good with like analytics, but there's a point where it's like he's such an egghead with this shit that like JJ Redick, as much as I like his podcast, he does have personal biases for a lot of things.
Sure.
And I don't know that he would be able to do the coaching job or the coaching thing right. Like, I would rather take a flyer on an actual coach from somewhere.
It's funny that he's a pretty major character in this clipped series.
I still can never get over also JJ Redick crying when he got traded to Milwaukee.
Yeah, he did. I remember that. Yeah, he said he cried when he was on the plane. When he was on the plane over.
Crying, since we didn't talk about this, did you see the Jabari Parker thing?
Yeah,
Oof.
and but at first people had this. I had the same reaction. Like I felt bad for him. I felt sympathy for Jabari Parker. For those who don't know what we're talking about, he's playing in Europe somewhere. Is it Spanish league? I think it's the Spanish league. I'm not sure. And the reporter asked him, I don't know, just like his thoughts on his first year playing overseas in Europe, and he starts breaking down and tearing up, and then the camera cuts off, and people thought he was sad. He said later that those were tears of appreciation, that he's just able to play basketball for a living again, because the dude's had a bad run of injuries, and it ran him right out of the league. So he said those were tears of joy and appreciation that he played a full season over there, and that he can hoop again and make a living doing it.
Is that really what ran him out of the NBA? He had the worst plus minus, like the second to last year he was in the NBA for any player.
Well, yeah, but at that time, his injuries had ravaged his game, dude. He wasn't the player that he was when the Bucks drafted him.
No, but he also, remember when he said he doesn't get paid to play defense? Do you remember all those quotes?
I do. Yeah, I do.
There was a lot of young man refusal to want to shape up. And I do think that there was some jealousy when he was out that Giannis became a rising star. And I think that he was supposed to be the franchise, and Giannis took that. There was never going to be. Remember when Phil Mackey was talking about how, every now and then, like an organization has to make a decision between one or the other guy, and then one might feel slighted. I think Jabari Parker hit that way sooner than he needed to, and that's why he ended up getting moved on from. Like it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. I'd be interested to see and it's not like a Derrick Rose what if, because we saw Derrick Rose win an MVP before his knee problems ravaged his career. But it is an interesting what if. What kind of player would Jabari Parker have been if he didn't have the injury problems that he had, and had he reached that full potential, and Giannis reached his full potential, which he obviously has and continues to, how those two, or if those two, would be able to coexist.
Yeah. Well, Jabari Parker he would have had to have been a better shooter. And I mean, the other factor on that too is Chris Middleton a part of this team if Jabari Parker is still here? Is
probably not.
I'm sure there's enough people that watch this that probably are like, oh my God, Chris Middleton could have been off this team 10 years ago. That would have been great. But
I agree with this next comment here. It's AJ Grill. I don't know if you know him or not. He says, for Christ's sake, will someone get Drew a ring light? You really gotta invest something in this fucking podcast, dude. I have a ring light. I bought a camera. I bought a microphone. I bought a microphone stand. Like, put $20 into this podcast and get yourself some fucking lighting. AJ is 100% correct.
The picture that AJ has is lit so poorly on
it. I didn't see it. Let me see it.
Look at that. Look at that.
No, that's artistic. That lighting is artistic. That's meant to be that way, whereas you are just being lazy and cheap and not buying some basic ass podcasting equipment.
Fine.
I told you can buy like a camera light combo thing for $100 at Target. $100, it's nothing.
Me and AJ had a good talk on the phone today, and now I feel completely betrayed.
You still talk on the phone with people?
I was driving home from work. I couldn't text. It was rush hour.
think that's maybe why I don't have. This is gonna get deep. And then we'll wrap it up. I don't have as close of relationships with as many people as I see others having, and I think it's just because I don't want to talk on the phone. You know what I mean? There's like 5 people I want to talk on the phone with, and one of them is my mom, and one of them is my girlfriend. That's other than that, there's nobody I want to talk on the phone with. There's like 3 people who I feel like can hold a phone conversation.
You live with your girlfriend. Why do you want to talk to her on the phone? You're gonna see her.
Like if we did the long distance thing for like 6 months, or if she's out of town on work or something, you know what I mean? Like I don't mind a good long phone conversation.
That's different. I thought you were talking about like daily.
No, I talk to her plenty here. Yeah, she's sick of me.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Okay, yeah, out of town is that's one thing. But like, I thought it's like you're like, oh, it's.
But my friends, I don't talk on the phone with them. I literally have like 3 friends. I literally have 3 friends who I will talk on the phone with.
I think it would have been funny if your mic would have cut out when you said, I literally have 3 friends.
No, it's 6. I have 6
Well, do you
friends.
remember when you invite one of those friends to your cookout when Bart just was hungry and alone? And you know he's got lawn chairs. Why didn't you invite him?
Sure. That's fair. That's fair. Did you see the lawn chair episode?
Of what?
Into the Winklerverse?
Yeah. It was hilarious.
Okay. It was great.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. He didn't have a lawn chair. He thought he had a lawn chair. He did not have a lawn chair.
Well, you know.
People should check it out if they haven't. Go see our good friend Bart Winkler, Into the Winklerverse. Any final thoughts, Drew?
No, the Mavs are going to win on when do they play Saturday? They're going to win that day.
Yes. All right. Get a ring light.
Yeah,
maybe a microphone of some sort, something.
I'll go to Walmart tomorrow.
Yeah, you can get one of those at Walmart for like $20. No problem. Clips right to your phone. Easy peasy.
All right, I'm going to watch my pirate show.
All right, this has been episode 58 of Ramie and Drew. Please follow, subscribe, like, rate, review, tell a friend, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And we will talk to you next time. Thank you for watching or listening.